I was diagnosed in December 2015. I mean, in my own experiences when I was trying to come to terms with having an incurable disease, I felt lost and I felt isolated, and there just wasn't enough resources for me to feel comforted or less alone through the whole process. So that really inspired me to spread the word. My name is Ellie Kammer and I'm a painter. And at the moment I'm focusing on raising awareness for endometriosis, which is a disease that I and many millions of women have that is widely misunderstood. Endometriosis is a disease where tissue similar to that of the lining of the uterus grows outside of the uterus. It causes pain and bleeding, and in almost 50% of cases it causes infertility. There's a lot of misconception about the disease. People don't talk about it in an open way because it is a woman's disease. It's about blood, so that makes conversation about it really uncomfortable for people. And I thought that wasn't really good enough. I needed someone to be open about it so that I could relate and know that everything that was happening to me was a normal part of the disease. That was the hardest part, was that new things would happen to me and it would be really hard to check on the internet and see if that is normal or if I should be taking myself to the hospital. So I just decided to make paintings where the disease is not so subtle. And I wanted to make it obvious and sort of like a punch in the face for people that don't know anything about endo, so that they might have an internal conversation with themselves and do some research. I absolutely want to make people uncomfortable about it because that's what endometriosis needs. It needs people that don't have the disease to care about it and to want to raise awareness, to want to fund research, to want to make something happen. Because obviously with 1 in 10 women having it, everybody's going to be affected by endometriosis at some point. I have always taken inspiration from my own personal experiences. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of terrible ones, so I take inspiration from the human condition and I like to flip it and make it a positive, or at least shine a big light on the injustices and try and make a difference about it anyway. And so that's why I decided to enter into a career where I love what I do. I would encourage young creators to drop that sort of romantic notion that art can be only created when you're in the mood, because especially if you want to take it far, if you want to make a career out of it, that's not how businesses work. It's like if somebody was running a cafe and they decided that they'd only trade when they felt like it. Obviously that cafe would crash and nobody would come and nobody would support you because you're not consistent, you're not doing it for the masses. And I think that what's important is to remember that if you're not always creating, who's going to follow what you're doing? And you can do things when you're feeling not so creative. Like, I don't always feel like painting, but I always do it for as long as I can. And if I just can't paint, then I'll work on the business side. I'll do some marketing, I'll do some accounting. My biggest piece of advice for young creators is to start thinking of it as a small business rather than here and there. I'll do what I feel like and see how it goes and wait for opportunities to come my way. That's not how it goes. You have to work really hard.